Hey guys, it's Owl. Where do I begin? So I guess I'm gonna do a little backstory on how I got back into paintball after being out of paintball for quite some time. All started, me and my buddy, grade 7, grade 8, we decided to try out paintball. Went out, played for a bit, wasn't overly into it at the time, enjoyed it at the time, and unfortunately, things got busy, stopped going, and also, as you know, being grade 7, 8, paintball was expensive going out, didn't have my own money at the time, made for tricky times to go out and play every other weekend. But yeah, so that was kind of the starting of where it happened. I started working at this new place, and I ended up connecting to a buddy from high school that I hadn't seen in a long time, and he still very avidly played paintball, and he kind of reintroduced me to it. And it's probably one of the worst things he could have ever done, because when I get into something, I go way overboard, and it's kind of what today is going to be about, my gun collection, and just the stuff I've decided to buy throughout this journey of playing paintball, and kind of give you guys a rundown of my guns that I have. But yeah, so now we're back into paintball, and here's the video. So this guy, it was my first modification build that I ever did, and it kind of holds a special place because it was the first gun I really enjoyed using a lot of the time. And yeah, it was a really cool marker. So it's a Hammer 7. I had a composite stock given to me by a buddy, and pretty much just hacksawed the living hell out of it to make it fit. And it fits in there quite nicely, I'd say. We had to kind of cut the angle for the tank, and then I just had a rubber butt pad put on. Yeah, this thing was a beast. I used it all the time. I did get a conversion kit, so you could run die-dam mags instead of the old school Hammer 7 mags, because these not technically, but they didn't jam as often. But then I ended up going to be an absolute mind freak and just sanding the nips off FSR to have no jams. And yeah, we're not going to talk about that. But anyways, so yeah, I got a 3D printed lower from a guy whose name is Zach Sky King, and he also did the 3D bolt as well for the bolt pull, which is an amazing design in my opinion. But yeah, that's my first marker there that I fully modified, and again, it kind of sits in the graveyard now. Can't say I really use it that often, but yeah, that's that marker. Marker number 1. On to the next. So this guy is definitely like the top. I'd say he's number 1 right now, but you might be shocked when you see the others. But just how this one turned out was unreal. So again, we're another Hammer 7, and it's the black version, which has the gold bolt, which is insanely hard to come by. But I was glad I was able to find it. I got a 1022 Ruger stock and dremeled the living hell out of it just to have it fit in there nice and snug. I was able to make it to where the bolt of the body that actually holds the real firearm in it to actually hold the body of the Hammer 7. So that's all that's holding that in there right now, is just that bolt, but it's not going nowhere. This one, I just ran the typical, I had to cut the heck out of the lower frame, but hey, hockey tape as a grip works well. And then the old Hammer 7 mags, I'm also running with it as well. But no fancy bolt pull, it's literally just a bolt that to pull it back, kind of a classic. And then actually recently tiered it with a Supremacy Scope 2. So I'll be able to use this for the first season, and I threw a straight ASA adapter on it for a remote line. So it's going to be interesting to try that out this season. But the scope itself, definitely interested to try it this season. Looks like it's going to be pretty good. And that's from David from Garment Tech Engineering. Awesome guy. But yeah, that's my Hammer 7 and a 1022 Ruger stock, and personally my favorite gun that I have. It's just such a clean look. There's been a lot of compliments on the field using this one, and it's been a blast to play with. That's number 2. So this guy's kind of a complete offside, and again, third of the collection of the hammers. But this is kind of like a base Hammer 7 I was trying to turn into like a small hopper fed marker just for like walk on fun, just pump, just to shoot. Doesn't even have a trigger right now because I think I ended up taking a trigger out for another gun. I can't remember what I ended up doing with it. But yeah, typical Hammer 7. Just switched to a hopper fed. But yeah, so that's 3 Hammer 7s in total. You can kind of tell I have a problem with Hammer 7s. They're such a unique marker, and they are hard to come by. So anytime I see them, reasonably priced, I definitely try to grab one. But that's the Hammer 7 there. Yeah, so that's number 4. Alrighty, sidearm. So I ended up running a FSC for the longest time. I found it gave me a lot of issues, so I ended up selling it to a buddy. Seems to, he seems to enjoy it, and I'm happy for that. But I wanted something that was not going to cause me issues on the field, be able to play very easily. And from what I was told, that is the Tippmann 98. Very robust marker, very simple design, CO2. And it's never failed me. Like, I've dropped this thing so many times in the dirt water, and it still fired flawlessly after. No issues. I've yet for anything to leak on it. But from what I've seen, very simple to fix. If you do have a leak, there isn't much to the gun. But yeah, and then I have it paired with the extended mags from Tipp-X. And yeah, that's my sidearm there. Again, very rarely when I have to pull this guy, but when I need to, or even just if I'm at a walk-on and want to run a pistol to move around quicker, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, it's Tipp-X. So this was the very, very first marker I ever bought. And bone stock ran well, was amazing, but none other than the Planet Eclipse EMF 100. But I've done, of course, some modifications, not even modifications, but I've added on some stuff to it. So I got an Inception's ID 100 body, threw on a different handguard. Again, another type of riser. This is just to hold the handguard in place, and it's not going nowhere, but I was going for the more tactical style look. I originally used this as like a sniper at one point. I have my supremacy scope on here. But all in all, amazing marker. But I now have it paired with a, I think it's a power nano barrel. I could be murdering that name. There's some type of name for it, but I have no idea. Oh my goodness, it's going to drive me nuts. Yeah, power... Oh, it's a carbon barrel, carbon nano barrel, barrel, Jesus. But yes, this is still pride and joy. This is my go-to walk-on gun. Round ball, first strike, shoots wild, absolutely unreal, but a lot of fun. And yeah, I can't complain. I've never had an issue with this marker. I had a leak once when paint, beginning of the season, paint was choppy, and all I had to do, clean it off, relube it, good to go. Nice and easy, pull the solenoid, good to go. Yeah, it's definitely a very good marker. Always had fun with it. Never a bad time. So that's number 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the 5th marker. Okay. So this is probably the best and worst decision I've made in playing paintball. But I'm looking forward to putting it to the test and trying it. And I heard mixed reviews, but I also heard really great reviews. But I don't think... I'm not going to know until I try it. But I've been told don't get it. Been told do get it. But here we are. So this is my SAR 12C. I've used it. I used it with Saga Big Game last year. Or I guess this year. Going on to next year. I'm losing my dates. And I had some issues, I'm not going to lie. I got the new mags. It definitely needed some breaking in for the magazines. I figured out there's a guy there, his name was Matt. He explained to me, like, if you lube up the mags and all this, so there's a bunch of learning curves with this gun. Absolutely massive marker. But, again, super looking forward to putting it to the test. Anytime, like, I zeroed in my supremacy scope, it was bang on every time, like, very accurate. Also insanely, like, no FPS bounds at all, which is really cool. I know that's what it's well known for, but I'm definitely looking forward to using this guy this season as well. And it might be my next prized possession if I get the hang of moving this big cumbersome marker around. But I'm definitely looking like it's going to be a lot of fun to use. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is my 6th marker. and it's actually my final one, which a lot of people are like, why the hell do you have 6 markers? And you know, I couldn't even answer you that question either, because it's bad. I got a bad addiction with paintball, but hey, could be worse. Good times and great people that we play with. It is an absolute blast. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll answer them as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, it's been Owl. Over and out.